Hey guys, this is a vlog. This one's been on my mind for quite some time. It's about sparring and trying to come up with new ways of training people and bring them as close to possible as sparring without anybody getting hurt. So I've always been envious of jiu-jitsu and wrestling guys that every night they can actually what they call rolling, and it's like they're sparring. They actually roll, wrestle each other and try to tap each other out. And as long as they tap, no one's getting hurt, and they can do this for hours. Like Luthez used to say, he was sometimes going several hours a day. You just become obsessive, you try new moves, and it just becomes this flow. And in boxing, you're lucky to get a few rounds a week, depending, of course, if you're training for a fight. You're lucky to get a few rounds a week of training, of sparring, mainly because both of you are getting damaged. The training partners are getting damaged because they're fully coming at you with punches, and this jiu-jitsu dummy, this dummy head by Questrike has sort of led me into a direction. Like, get creative with tools. Like, I'm sure the pad work, you've seen how creative people are getting just with pads. It's pretty crazy what they're experimenting with, from Mayweather to Freddie Roach all the way to, back to, oh geez, I'm blanking on his name, Lennox Lewis's trainer of the Kronk Gym, Manuel Stewart. With jiu-jitsu, with this Questrike dummy, get used to puppeteering. So what I'm doing here is I'm holding the dummy close to my head, and I've cancelled any left hook. So you can work on the boxers, limit the boxer so they can't throw certain punches, and you can keep extending it out. In this case, the boxer can't throw a left hook, mainly because I obviously can't defend it puppeteering, holding the dummy close to my head, but they can throw any straight punches they want, any punches to the body because I got the body shield on. And so it takes a while to get used to this, because you've got to get used to holding the head close to your head, and while you're punching, you'll often find you're putting whatever hand you're holding the dummy. You'll find that hand sort of dips down, and as you get tired, obviously it's hard to hold that dummy head close to your head. So it takes a while to get used to, but if you can emulate the head movement of your head and then punch with one hand, you are effectively sparring with one hand, and the other guy, your trainee, can fire back with whatever punches they want, pretty much as hard as they want, except for obviously the left hook in this case. So the fighter is learning in this instance to stop the jab as much as possible. So they're learning head movement, they're learning blocks, and they're learning to counter back to not only just the head, but also to the body. It's a hell of a workout, not only for the person being attacked, but also for the person holding the dummy. In this case here, I'm the guy in the orange. I'm trying to win the fight, so I've got a hell of a jab. Ooh, look at me go. So the guy, he's one of my trainees. I just wanted to give this a go and experiment with him. He's a lovely, lovely, lovely guy. So I'm trying to win the fight here as much as possible. I'm not sitting back just waiting for him to throw. So I've got my hands here, I'm protecting myself, and I'm trying to score as much as possible, hit that head. So his puppeteering work isn't great because you can see his... he keeps putting... It sort of goes low eventually, and I tell him you can defend it, so it's good. I can work on feints. I can try to feint and try to stop him from blocking my attacks to the head, but you can see how low he's getting it. Like, it takes a long time. Look how low he's holding the head here. But if you can get used to holding that head, it's a hell of a workout. And for me, it feels like I'm actually sparring. Like, he's throwing, it's only one hand I'm dealing with. So, it's a huge advantage for me, but at least I'm learning. Somebody's attacking me and I'm attacking back. And look how it's random. It's not choreographed. It's not going, oh, you throw this and I'll throw that. And I'm honestly trying to win. I'm thinking, oh, geez, he's hit me a couple of times. Oh, I've got to block. And I'm trying to score. There, I scored and I'm away. He can't hit me back. Okay, he's tagged me again there. I'm blocked. I blocked most of these shots. Boom, I got a counter right hand in. And, and stuff like that. And this video here, We can see the big guy, my guy Willie, that's my best trainee. Boom, boom, right to the body. Jeez, his punches hurt. He's a really big guy. And the other guy there I have to do this with as well. And you can see Willie having to contest with the jab and see how disciplined I am at holding the dummy head. I'm trying to hold the dummy head as close to my head as much as possible. So there I'm giving instructions. Like, oh, I have this terrible habit of saying, oh, well done, well done. But yeah, you can see Willie firing back. You know, he's dealing with the jab. He's moving to the side, and then he's firing back. He's slipping and firing. Good work, you know, waiting for it there. And then I can engage close. I don't know if I engage close in this one. Yeah, see, he's attacked body shots. Yeah, see, I can engage close, and this is close range fighting. He's pushing me away. And I said you can use the uppercuts. Just be careful of my head. And look, but the thing about this is no one is getting hurt. He can go full blast to the body, straight punches to the head, and I can attack him as much as I can with the jab. I'm not clinching, like I'm trying not to hurt him, but I'm throwing honest punches, like I'm aiming for his chin and everything. So, you know, I build them up before I put him into this. But look at this. This is like sparring, just with one hand. And it's one of the best exercises. We can do this all day. And I think this dummy head by Questrike is definitely an innovation headed into the right direction, because one day they're going to design a perfect I don't know if it's a suit or something to do with holograms, or if it's going to be with those 3D glasses, or what do you call them? I don't know, those 3D goggles, Google thing. I can't believe I'm blanking on the name, where you're in that 3D environment. But eventually you'll be able to spar and fight someone, and it'll be like a real life situation rather than the pads all the time. Because I love pad work. You've seen me do pad work like crazy. I make a lot of money. Well, not a lot, but I'm getting a lot of clients wanting to do pad work. But the thing about I find about pad work, it's like a rehearsed dance. I tell you the combination, eventually you learn the combination, but it's always what I'm telling you to do. Where I want to train people to get really creative is in a combat situation where it's random punches coming, where it's randomly clinching, and then you have to deal with the situation, or what punch is going to come with me, and you might get creative, or the trainee might get creative on what attacks they're going to come back with. You know, I'll experimenting. That's the biggest word in training. Experiment. Or what if I try this? And if they get tagged, it's not that bad. They won't get hurt. And that's where the confidence comes from, is when George St. Pierre said it, once you're at that level where you're starting to play and have fun, that's where you grow exponentially, you know. And I really do believe having a solid defensive base and then bringing them into a sparring scenario like this really makes them creative, really gives them confidence. You know, it's a great workout for me, because it's like I'm sparring, kind of like it's a lot of effort holding that dummy head and throwing punches all the time, but it's a fantastic workout for them because they're having to deal with an attack and they're trying to have to score. And the biggest thing, because these guys here, they're very powerful punchers, big guys. Their biggest punches aren't going to put me down because I'm wearing the body shield and they're hitting the dummy head, the Questrike dummy head. So they have to rely on their boxing skills. Granted, if these guys were going to spar, a lot of guys aren't going to be able to hold many rounds against them because they're such powerful punchers. And then that goes the other way. Because of their weight division, they might come up against someone who hits very hard and they might not last a couple of rounds against them. By doing this drill, no matter how hard they hit the Questrike dummy head or my body shield, it's not going to affect me, so we can go round after round after round, and they're really clocking in so much time in the ring. And that's what it takes, you know, trying to build up that sparring time. Because again, the jiu-jitsu guys, I think, accelerate way faster than boxers because they get to roll every single night. It's really, really fun. Whereas boxers, you do drills, you do pad work, you do conditioning. Maybe you'll get invited to sparring. And even if you do get invited to sparring, at least when I was doing it, there was like 3 to 4 rounds. The coach would let us in and, that's it, next two, move in. Or if you've already done 4 rounds. And I think I got up to 8 rounds sometimes, but I wasn't a professional fighter. The coach was happy just me blasting away 3 or 4 rounds, and that's quite often for the majority of people. And that was once a week, invite only sparring, maybe twice a week, whereas jiu-jitsu guys are rolling every day. So if we can bring this into boxing, and I'm an open book, I'm quite happy to show you what I'm doing with my students, and things like that. And this is definitely one of the innovations I think the Quest Strike dummy head has really brought around. You got to get really creative with it, and I think to emulate or to try and generate a sparring environment as close as possible. Yeah, they're dealing with one hand, but they're still dealing with being attacked by a jab or a hook to the body or a hook up top from one hand, and they have to fire back. It is amazing. No one's getting hurt, and they're clocking in round after round of fighting. I think this is a step in the right direction, and I'm going to continue to try and innovate and think of new scenarios that gets me as close as possible to sparring as much as possible. Let me know what you think, guys.